Hi, I'm Danielle, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about whatever it is I feel like. And this evening, we have another kind of unwinding thoughts where I talk about shows and movies and other forms of media that I just finished up. And today is very special because it's kind of like a reset day, a little bit, a mild reset day, because I did my hair, my nails are done, and now we're just getting ready for bed. So this evening, we're going to be talking about The Polygamist because I finished that recently and boy, was that a doozy. So The Polygamist is a South African soap opera. Yeah, a South African telenovela that tells the tale of this woman named Joyce Scamora, who is a social media influencer, and she's married to her husband Jonas, and they have what is perceived to be the most perfect life. She has brand deals and sponsorships that are all kind of contingent on the fact that she has this beautiful, wonderful, perfect family. And we soon learn that her family is not as perfect as she is making it out to be. And it's even less perfect than she actually knows it to be. So it all starts when her husband is revealed to be having an affair with this woman named Matipa. And rather than kind of divorce him or whatever, because she still loves Jonas a lot, and as it turns out, so does his mistress Matipa, instead of kind of letting Jonas go, she decides to have the upper hand and start a polygamous relationship in her family. And Matipa, the mistress, becomes his second wife. Or does she? Because maybe Jonas has another wife, and maybe Matipa isn't the second. Maybe Matipa is the third. Maybe some other women are going to be his wife as well. Who knows? I know because I watched the show. But yeah, I need to start actually getting ready for bed because, I want to sleep. Hair serum. But yeah, this show was absolutely insane. One day I stayed up till like 4 a.m. watching. Like I was locked into this soap opera. And it made me realize that I do enjoy a soap opera. I do. I didn't actually grow up watching soaps. I don't really have a history of watching soap operas or telenovelas or anything like that. The closest I've gotten to watching like a telenovela is Jane the Virgin. I loved that show so much. It was so good. I do love a telenovela format, all the twists and turns and stuff like that. And this definitely had a lot of those. Like, there was a period of time where we see Jonas when he's younger, and you kind of, I guess you think, was he always like this? And the answer is yes. He was always a low down, dirty dog. So that flashback episode was interesting to see, along with his other wives, basically. I don't know how to go about this because I'm kind of reviewing it, kind of not. I don't know. Let me start by saying I know a lot of this is going to be cultural. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm not South African. My family is not South African. So I know some of the stuff is going to be cultural. Like the concept of polygamy. In the United States, it is illegal. But in South Africa, because I did look this up while watching the show, it's not illegal. And in some Muslim countries, it's not illegal. So, like, I know some things are going to be cultural. The part that kept getting me was how tightly everyone held on to Jonas when he is the worst. He's just the worst. And elephant in the room, he looks like RuPaul from But I'm a Cheerleader. Like RuPaul's straight character and But I'm a Cheerleader. That's what Jonas looks like. I'm going to put up a picture of them side by side here because they look the same. Like this man is straight RuPaul. He's straight RuPaul. Okay, what else am I saying about this show? other than all the twists and turns were crazies. I will say there was not a twist, but there was one thing that I thought I was going to predict correctly, but I didn't predict correctly. And that was basically the son, Magesh. I thought that he was going to end up having an affair with Matipa, the mistress, just because there was a period of time in like some of the first, I will say like a third of the season, when they were trying to integrate the mistress into the family and she had a baby. And he was the only one who like visited the babies, the twins. He was the only one who visited, and he started to get to know them really well. And he was able to help her when she was really struggling because Jonas is a shitty father. So there was a period of time where the son was visiting those babies, and I thought, oh, is he gonna have an affair with the mistress? That feels like a very telenovela soap opera thing to happen, and it didn't. So I think that was the only thing that I predicted that was incorrect. I was able to predict, oh, just so you know, this is going to be full of spoilers. I'm so sorry. I was able to predict the friend Lindani being pregnant and being with Jonas because of the scene at the baby christening at the house, that party, the scene where she was like, your father sure is something else. I was like, she's going to sleep with the dad. She's going to sleep with the dad. And then immediately after that, she threw up. As someone who's watched TV her whole life, I know that throwing up means she's pregnant. So that was definitely something really easy to predict. What else was I able to predict? I did know that Sarah was Jonas's daughter. And honestly, besides Joyce, I think my heart broke for Sarah the most because I think she was the one who loved Jonas the most. And I think because she was so much on the outside, she saw her best friend have her dad and have a good relationship with her dad and have her dad dote on her and like give her presents and live in this really fancy house. Like she saw her best friend have all that stuff, and she saw her best friend have it with her dad. So she was like, she definitely had a terrible complex about her. And I feel as though, and again, this could be a cultural thing, I feel as though everyone was placing the blame for actions on the wrong people. Like, obviously, Sarah going about like sleeping with, what is her name? Sleeping with Mapume's boyfriend, like obviously that's bad and that was an awful thing to do. And her even like stealing her iPhone and stuff like that and being like, you just tell your dad to buy you a new one. Like he'll buy you a new one. That type of stuff, yes, bad, objectively bad. But I feel as though everyone kept putting the blame on her specifically, which yes, she does deserve that blame, but also she's acting out because her dad sucks and isn't claiming her. And yeah, that was a really tough situation. My heart broke for Sarah. Especially because she loved him the most, and she was the one who was actively showing that she loved him after all the crappy stuff about him got out, and she was the one that he was rejecting the most. Like he still, that's another thing. I think that's a man thing in general of wanting to have the respect and the honorifics of being seen as a father, but then not doing any of the actual work of being a father. Like the amount of times he was like, you're going to talk to me like that? I'm your father. And it's like, you have not been here. You've been off sleeping with every Tom, Dick, and Harry in all of South Africa. You're the father to pretty much every person in this country right now. Like, look around, Jonas. You're everyone's dad. Maury Povich, you are the father, and you're not parenting any of these kids. You just basically have money and you think that's enough. And that's very annoying. Just to think that just because you have money, that's all you need to be a father. That's all you need. Not actually teaching children anything, not showing them right and wrong, like none of that. Just okay. In general, I think the people who love Jonas the most got the worst of him. Like Essie, I think she was truly in love with him. I think in their own way, all of these women were in love with him. Essie probably was his first love. she definitely enabled him the most. And I feel as though, not to blame Essie or anything, but I feel as though if she had, not done some of the stuff she did when they were teens, he probably would have gotten as bad. Or maybe he would have found someone else to enable him, because the only reason Jonas works is because so many people enable him. So many people enable him. Like his brother enables him, Essie enables him, Joyce, to an extent, enables him by saying they're going to be a polygamist family at this point. Like, so many people enable him and his terrible actions. And I think because he's rich and powerful, he's able to get away with so much, even though they have the numbers. They just have to, like, the amount of assassination attempts in here, the amount of hospital bombshells we have, chef's kiss. Hospital bombshells were amazing. I think it was very interesting that it was the younger women who kind of gave Jonas the most lip and the most attitude. They, of course, got punished for pretty much everything, as is the way of being a woman. But I found it interesting that they were the ones who gave him the most attitude. Like Lindani, she gave him a lot of attitude, especially when he was sick in the end. She was fully rude to him a lot of times, especially when he had no physical power over her in the end, like when he was sick. She definitely gave as good as she got. The daughter, Mpume, she definitely had a lot of sass in her and was definitely, but it was almost like you could see generational differences in the women, in how Essie and Joyce were definitely more about upholding the the current way that the family was. They were very into that. Whereas the daughter was definitely like, Dad, you should say you're sorry. You shouldn't be doing this. You should say you're sorry. It's hard to respect you because you do this stuff. Like, she was definitely about him, wanting him to take accountability in a very tangible way. Whereas the older women, Essie and Joyce, kind of were like, this is just how he is. Like, he's the dad. We're supposed to stick by him. We're supposed to follow him. We're supposed to do all that stuff. You know what I mean? I think it was very interesting that the younger women were the ones who really gave him hell, essentially. So did the mistress. She gave a little bit of hell too. It definitely, he definitely hurt her for it. And I think that might be also why the older ones don't. They're kind of used to it, and they're also getting it from their mom that, like, he's a good man, he's this, da 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 da. You just have to follow him. And caring so much about appearances, especially Joyce, because her brand and her entire job and her livelihood is really tied to Jonas, both in terms of his company and then her sponsorships and stuff like that. So it makes sense in a way why she's upholding it, but it still sucks that she was upholding it, especially when you have your kids. Like, please, he was gone for like a year and we were living life. It was great. Anytime he's gone, we have a great time, and then you keep bringing him back. Like, heart breaks for the children. Speaking of children, the son. The son. I think I would have enjoyed it if he had an affair with the mistress, but that's just because I'm messy. I think the culture of enabling Jonas is the reason why he, in the end, ends up exactly like his father. He tries to be emotional. He tries to show, like, care and vulnerability and all that stuff, but every single time he does, someone is like, you have to be able to fight your own battles. You have to be able to stand up for this. You have to be able to do this. You have to be hard. You have to be a man. You have to be this. And eventually, and the only man he sees that everyone, like, respects is his father. Like, all the other men, no one really respects them. So of course he sees that his father is the only man that's respected. Of course he's like, okay, I guess I have to be like this awful guy. And that's who he ends up being. Even though Joyce is like, our son is never going to be like you. You didn't foster an environment where he could be anything else. Like, of course he's going to end up like his father. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's unfortunately how it's going to be. So yeah, I did feel bad for him as well, because again, there was just no other way. There's no other way. Everything is, his dad is too much of an influence in his life. Everyone enables him so much. Him ending up like his father is definitely gonna be what happens. Let's just do a little booster. Why not? Speaking of cycles, you can really see how the cycle of Jonas's abusive behavior kind of was, enabled, especially from his brother. You kind of want to see the brother as a good guy, and in some ways he is, but he still enables Jonas to a terrible degree. Like, he pretends to be Essie's husband. He doesn't stop him a lot of times when he's like getting physical with his family. They're like begging him for help, and because Jonas is the center of the family, and he owns the company that's putting food on everyone's table and giving them their place in society. Of course, it's hard to like take a man like that down. I really think if they all banded together, they could have. Speaking of banding together, I think the show really got good for me, and I really enjoyed it more when Joyce and Matipa finally like started really working together and kind of really standing up together and commiserating together about Jonas. That's when the show got really, really good for me. That's when I enjoyed it the most. When she was busy being mad at Matipa for falling in love with her husband and being like, "You're such an awful woman for, who sleeps with another man's what? Who sleeps with another woman's husband?" Like, all that stuff, and the whole blaming the woman. Like, yeah, that annoyed me because I'm like, it's not her fault. You need to be directing the majority of your anger at Jonas. Like, no one directed most of their anger at Jonas, and that frustrated me till the bitter end. Till the bitter end. All the women in this film, in the show, were gorgeous. Gorgeous. Panting after RuPaul. Panting after straight RuPaul. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? Any final thoughts on the show? Just that it was very interesting, and I think it's a good watch. It's a really fun watch. It's really easy to get kind of sucked into the world of the Polygamist because so much happens, so many secrets are revealed. Jonas is maybe the worst person ever on film. I don't know. He might be the worst ever. But yeah, it was a very interesting time. I would probably give this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. 3.5 out of 5. If only because my own bias of like how I think they should have moved in terms of like killing him faster and like banding together more. And I think the main thing that I didn't like wasn't even the staying with him. It was the whenever they would blame someone who wasn't him. I think that part was the part that annoyed me the most. Like when Lindani got like preyed upon. Why are you blaming the child? Why are you blaming the child when Jonas was awful? Like, just blaming the wrong person. I think that's part really was like, oh my God. Jonas says this really awful thing to someone, and because they react, they're like, why are you reacting like that to your father? He's still your father. But like, can we please like evolve and like, think about this a little bit more. He's the one being awful and terrible this whole time. Those are my very scattered shot thoughts. I wish they were more cohesive considering I have to edit this, but yeah, that's pretty much all the thoughts I have on the Polygamist. I will see you next time when I have something else I want to talk about. But for now, I'm going to wear my red and light mask and read a book. Bye.